Welcome. In the last episode of the fourth season, we treated finance, and I gave you my word that we'll be looking at other aspects of finance because it's not a topic one would be able to exhaust within so short a time. But as a reminder, last episode we looked at the meaning of finance and how important it is, even in the running of a home. And I remember I said that love without money is equal to frustration. For you to run your home perfectly well, you need money. Money cannot be overemphasized because you need money for everything you need to do to make your marriage work. Then we also talked about contentment, that you must learn to like and love what you have. You must love what you have. Don't be envious of others. Be contented with what you have. Be contented so that you won't have to do extra spending by the reason of wanting to have what others have. Then we also said you should set your priorities. Get to know what you need. Get to know how to meet those needs. And then finally, we also talked about taking a decision and distinguishing between your need and your wants. Needs are those things that you must have, while wants are those things that you would like to have. So you do more of what you need, leaving out more of what you want. And then when you talk about needs, generally you can break it into four. When you talk about feeding, what to put in your mouth for sustenance. You talk of accommodation, having a roof over your head. You talk about clothing, having clothes, sufficient clothes to cover your nakedness and to look neat and tidy. And then the fourth one is having just reasonable health provision, that is being able to take care of your health within the minimal availability of fund. So but today we'd like to move on to look at other aspects of finance. And the first area I'd like us to look at together is how do you handle financial pressure? Financial pressure. You might wonder, what do I mean by that? When you have so many things competing for the little fund that you have. When you have so many needs. Now, let's leave wants out of it. We've been able to differentiate between the two. But when you have needs that are all seemingly pressing, you have needs that must be met. For example, paying your house rent is a need. Feeding your family is a need. Clothing your family is a need. Paying school fees is a need. Ensuring that your children are not left health-wise is also a need. Now, when you have little fund competing for this, when you have so many needs competing for the little fund that you have, we want to look at how do you manage it? How do I prioritize? What are the things among the needs? There are some needs that are actually more needful than others. This simply means that there are some needs that can be pushed forward, though they are needs, but they can still be pushed forward in order to save or maximize the use of the fund that is available. Among the immediate needs, you have school fees because you don't want your children to be sent home. You have your house rent because you don't want the landlord coming to knock on your door. You have feeding of the family, which is also key for everyday living. Now, in the midst of all of this, you look at the fund that you have. Can you meet the immediate needs? If the answer is yes, then it's okay. But if, even among the immediate needs, you don't have enough to meet all of it, then it means you can now look outward of your immediate fund. You can look outward of what you have in hand, and that is coming to loan. Loan should not be seen as the first thing. It should be your last option so that you don't end up spending all the money that you're expecting at the end of the month. So there are many people like that before they get their salary, the salary is exhausted because of loan. If such loans are spent on immediate needs, then it will be understandable. But if you now spend your loan on wants, then that will be disastrous. So there is need for you to get it right and know that whatever loan you get has to be repaid. You must make a plan. How do I get this out of the way? Why? Because you don't want to be spending more than you are earning. And secondly, because you want to create an opportunity so that when you have a pressing need for a support, a financial support in your family, you can have access to the same loan again. But like I said, never make loan your first option. I'd like to just emphasize again, when do you get a loan? You get a loan when you have looked to the left, to the right, and you have concluded that what you have on the table are all immediate needs and that the fund you have in hand cannot meet it. That is when to get a loan. I also like us to take a look at allocation of resources. How do you share what you have? For example, let's assume I'm the first son of a family. I have parents to take care of. I have my siblings to settle in terms of education. I have other responsibility in my community. And then I have a family. I have children to send to school. I have a wife to take care of. How do I allocate the little that I have? My counsel to everyone is, you put your family first, your immediate family, the family you have just created. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you shouldn't take care of your parents or your siblings or your loved ones. All I'm saying is when there's a tight competition for the little fund you have, you must give preference to your immediate family. You cannot take care of your siblings at the expense of the school fees of your children, for example. You cannot say you want to take care of the rent of your parents at the expense of the feeding of your family. So when there's a very tight competition, you must be able to allocate your resources wisely by taking care of your family first. But I'd like to give us other tips as to how you can actually manage the resource. The thing is, money is never enough. Meet with a billionaire, they will always want more. That is telling us that there will always be need, there will always be want, and the resources will always remain scarce. But it is for you now to be wise in your spending. For example, we have said it before, I'm saying it again, that you must learn to love what you have. You have a designer bag, don't desire to have 3 or 4. Be contented with the one that you have. You have a clothes over your body, you're looking clean. It's not in the price of how much, in the price that you bought it. It's in how well you're able to take care of your fabric. So contentment is very important. Love what you want. Appreciate what you want. You know what? There are 1,001 people out there just desiring to have what you have. What do you think is not sufficient? Many people are still looking for ways of getting it. So be contented, be satisfied with whatever you're able to afford. Then secondly, I want to encourage everyone to create a budget. Make a plan. If you fail to plan, then you are planning to fail. Make a plan. What do we have to spend money on? How much are we allocating to what? That's what budget is all about. Planning ahead. Putting figures to what your need is. How much am I ready to let go? For example, on clothing. How much am I ready to let go on school shoes and school bags? Of course, if you want a school bag of 20,000 naira, you'll get it. But at the same time, you can get another school bag for 5,000. So you must be able to allocate figure to every of your need. And don't just create budgets. You must ensure that it's workable. So the budget you must have on ground must be such that you'll be able to work on. It must be workable. You must be able to track it. How much have I spent on feeding? What happened? Is it that, are we having any extra? Is it that there's an increase in price? You must be able to track it so that you don't go way out. Of course, there are some things that are highly unpredictable. You might budget this and then you get there, it's a little bit above your budget. It will be understandable. But don't go way, way far from what you have planned to spend. For example, you're planning to get another accommodation and you have budgeted 300,000 per annum. And then the house that you are seeing is going for 500. You have a choice of either waiting to get another one that will fall within the budget that you have planned. You don't have to get the one that is much, much more. If it's still 350, difference of 50,000 is understandable. But going for a 500,000 worth is going far away from your budget. Also, there is need for every family to build an emergency fund. Emergency simply means unplanned, unforeseen, unexpected. You might wonder, nobody plans for emergency. Yes, nobody, but you must make some provision for it. For example, if a member of the family falls sick, you can't say, I'll wait till the end of the month before the ailment will be taken care of. That's an emergency. Or when there's an unexpected loss of job, there must be something you can fall back to before you are able to get another job. Or natural disaster. People have been involved in flood, fire, disaster. So that's what is meant by, even the government makes provision for that. Just in case anything that is unexpected happens. It doesn't have to be a large amount, but if you cultivate the habit of putting a little amount aside bit by bit, you know that at least you have something there. When there's an emergency, there's something to fall back on. And finally, I want to encourage everyone to build a savings. Save. Money is never enough. I've said that earlier. It's never enough. But when you cultivate the habit of leaving a percentage out, saying, okay, if I don't have more than what I have in my hand available for spending, then nothing would happen. For example, you are earning 100,000 and you make up your mind 10% of this money is savings. Then you can as well just make an assumption that your salary is 90,000. So that's the money that it will come handy someday. It will come handy. For example, you might just be offered a beautiful plot of land that you never expected. If you have savings, you'll be able to meet it. You can save towards the education of your children, future education. You can save towards holiday. You want to give your family a treat. You say, okay, let me be putting a little amount aside. And out of that, you at least enjoy yourself in the course of living. These are the ways that can help us to manage fund. And money is such that if you don't take care of it properly, in fact, the word of God says that it can develop wings and fly away. So when it comes into your hand, you must ensure that you put it to optimal use, getting the best out of the money that is available to you. Finance is a topic that cannot be treated in a hurry. So we'll take as much time as we need to until every aspect of it is fully understood. On our next episode, we'll have a guest that will be discussing on this matter again to give us his own view. He's a married person and would want to hear life experience on how to manage finance so that we can hear it from another person's view. Until then, I remain Abimbola Akinwunmi, now that you are married. Thank you for your time.